Hi everyone, it's Jade from Career Journey Professional, helping you to find and land in the ideal career that's aligned with you. Today I want to talk about a topic that a few people asked me to actually talk about it, which is about how to survive in our office environment, specifically how to survive office politics. What is office politics and where is it coming from? To what extent there is always office politics in all the work environment we work with, as long as there are people that we work together with. Where is it coming from actually? Simply, it's just we're a bunch of people. Think about it, in an office, it's a bunch of people who are working together, but they all each coming with their own ambition, their different opinions, their ways of approaching things, and their needs and their insecurities as well, not just the good things but also the bad things in a workplace. And when you need to collaborate, when you need to work together, it's inevitable that there are times that you cannot agree with each other because of your personality or because of your opinions or because of the way you approach things. That's where the conflicts exist, and that's where politics comes up in a play. So and also be aware there are always people who may have more power than the others. There's an interesting book or a theory you can search on Wikipedia. It's French and Raven's 5 Forms of Power. I had a read, it's interesting. So basically it's talking about powers that arise from various sources and also in various forms. One of them is definitely your title, your for example, if you are CEO in nowadays society, or if you are the king, then you are automatically injected with power. And also there are other forms of power, people who are expert, who have a lot of experience, are really good at certain things, and there comes power. And also people who punish people, there's this kind of power with fear as well, that if you don't obey what they say, then you may be punished. So there are 5 forms of power, and he recently added a new one, which is information. So people who control information may have certain power to those who don't have such information. It's an interesting read, but I guess the point is, bear in mind there will always be people in your work environment that may have more power than the others. It could be because of their job title, or it could be other source that's giving them that kind of power. So let's tackle this. I mean, dealing with office politics, it's a very broad topic, and it's very personal as well. I mean personal as in how you can deal with individual situations according to your personality. May varies a lot, but I will try to touch it from a point that's, I guess, can be helpful, can be applicable to your situation. I guess the rule of thumb is first to really understand your work environment, where you're working with the work environment, the power that sits in between. So there are 2 things that you will need to understand. The first one is understand the power hierarchy in your work environment. And by that, I'm not just saying, the organization chart is not just about the job title. Sometimes people who have more power, or people who are more influential, may not necessarily be there's will equal to their job title, or people who have job title who have let's say a C-level job title may not really execute their power anyways. So you would need to sit back a little bit, observe and see what's really happening in your environment, in your organization. And you would want to ask yourself, who is the one who's really influencing others, who has more power or influence against other leaders, and who has authority, and whose authority are really exercised, whose authorities are not really exercised, or not respected, or not recognized, and who champions or mentors others. What are the people that are actually mentoring others or giving guidance or instructions to others, and who is the brain, or who is the actual driving force behind the business or behind your team. These are really good questions to think about when you're trying to understand the real power the real power chart within your team, maybe your company or organization. So another way to understand is not just the power, right? It's also the relationships between people at your workplace. So the interactions that people are having with each other and the relationships, and in this way, from this perspective, they may be groups or subgroups or unspoken little clans at work. Again, that's what you need to notice. Just sit back and see what they're doing. For example, my previous work, every morning around 10, 11ish in the kitchen, there is a bunch of senior managers, like managers of different departments, sales, human resources. They would gather there and have their morning chat. It's a casual kind of chat, but that's a secret. It's not secret, but it's like kind of like unspoken group. They just tend to glue together, and you will realize that in on Friday when it's company drink time, they tend to sit together as well. They tend to chat together, and when they're drinking. So notice the connections and notice how the connections are formed. Is it because of their friendship? Is it because they have common interests or respect or romance? You never know, or something else. So notice the groups and notice how people are glued together. How are they interacting with each other? What are the relationships they have? Now then, you should have a basic understanding of the powers within your office environment. The next step is understand or clarify what you really want. So understand you in this environment. Again, two things that you need to pay attention. The first one is know your goal in a work environment. Know what you're really after. So obviously you have your career goal. Maybe you're at the beginning of your career. So obviously you want to learn more skills and you want to get more experience, have more exposures. Then probably your goal is to you may have a mentor or a buddy or a supervisor who teaches you, and that will be the person that you just happily stay with them because you just want to learn from your job, and that's what you're the main goal of being there. Or maybe you're at say a senior level, or you're at the stage that you are ready to step up, or you want to understand what's happening at the departments of your company. Then probably it's time to talk to people, talk to managers of other departments, or just try to have a better understanding of the whole business. Know the what you want, but always when you are communicating with others, or whenever there is an office politics or conflicts or such communication happens, try to stay neutral. And if you're really put on the spot, asking you to give opinion or pick a side, probably always think from the team or organization, your department. Think about your project target. Think from that perspective and give your suggestions or opinions. That will be a safer ground for you to do that. At the end of the day, people or your boss or people who wanted to have to see the organization grow will be people who like employees who are mature, strategic, can entrusted with bigger responsibilities. And when you behave in that manner, that's the best way. And the second thing you need to understand about you is, yes, there is this whole office political network maybe, or what we said, the power chart. Certain people have certain. However, you have your closed work influence. You have your circle of influence at work anyways. You have the few that's closer to you, that forms the power around you. Some of them you may not have a choice to choose because they were your managers, they were your supervisors, they were your mentors. Some you may get to have a choice. People who you go out for coffee, people who go out for lunch from other faculties, from other department, from other team, buddies and mentors. But always be careful of your own circle of power, your own close circle of influence at work. And know that why you're hanging out with them, or your goal of hanging out with them. And then after that, so how to tackle this? Now that you know your environment, you know the power chart, and then you know your goal in such an environment. And just two suggestions I make. It's first is don't take sides, I suppose. If you are to put on a spot, I actually experienced this when I was back in the time when I was working in investment management in Hong Kong. So that there were two groups of people fighting or kind of having argument, always having frictions against each other. And I was asked to take a side. I was asked to listen to their stories and comment on who's right and who's wrong. When you are asked to do that, I mean, try to avoid that. But if you're really put on the spot, again, goes back to what I just said. Always think from the perspective that's going to benefit the whole team, the whole organization, the goal or the aim of your project, of your company, of your organization. Try to go back to there where there will be a mutual, more of a neutral ground for you to sit, and it's less likely for you to make mistakes. However, also know that who are the most gossip people and manipulators. Manipulators, as in people, you tell them something, they may put a negative spin on it. So know those people and also try to understand what's their goal. Like, what are they trying to achieve when they're doing these things? Why are they spreading the gossips, or why are they manipulating information or people's personal life within company? And when you have a better understanding, that's how you can probably deal with them in a better way, and also avoid protecting yourself, I guess, in that situations. So try not to pass too much rumor. When you heard the stories, keep it to yourself and be professional. So, you know, like when you're involved in some kind of argument, always see the right kind of people who are being responsible, who should know these things. Let them know. Make sure there's communication in a professional manner. That will be rule number one. And second one is build connections. I mean, apart from passively observing what's happening and seeing who has the power within the office, but also build connections, develop your people skills, and try to utilize your connection as well. I mean, at the end of the day, politics is all about people. It's all about how people are interacting, how they are influencing each other. So eventually, you would have to develop your own interpersonal skills anyways. I mean, that, of course, including enhancing your emotional intelligence. Always think before you talk or act, and actively listen, or make sure that people who you listen to, they felt like they are heard. And also try different approaches to different people, see how they will like you more. And that, in a nutshell, eventually that's what you want. You want people to like you, or I mean, in a genuine way, to like you, that so they feel like they can get along with you, that you understand them better. So, and also, when is the right time? When you spotted the right people, communicate your achievements or your desires or your ambitions for your career, so that maybe there will be doors open and there will be opportunities coming up. Great, that's it. It's a difficult topic for all of us to handle, but I hope that would give you some help along your way. And leave a like, subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.